Welcome everybody. I'm Begüm from Jugendvisionev, and many of you already know me. So I think there is no need of such a detailed introduction. But I'm one of the project coordinators of Agent 00 Waste project and representing the German partner. And today we are going to actually explore Eco Village, Eco project, which is taking place now in Stuttgart, exactly in our neighborhood. It's called Neckarpark Stuttgart. It's a new project of building an eco village. And I'll be talking about this new project. And we will learn together what are the details and how actually this project is going on. There is somebody in the call with... one moment. Okay. One moment, I just need to do something. Okay, so yes, we are going to explore this. And Saif will be helping me with the presentation, so he will manage the background coordination of the slide that we have. And we will have also time allocated at the end of the webinar for our questions, so feel free to ask. Also, if you have like very good questions at that moment, you can always ask me, but let's limitate this with 1-2 questions, because then it will be taking a lot of long time instead of having this at the end. Okay, I think we can start. Is there anything else you would like to tell before we just jump into the topic? Okay, I take the silence as gold and we can start. Let's continue with the part of the introduction. So what we need to know before about the Neckarpark project. This is, as I told, a new residential development plan. And actually, this project is very old. Stuttgart municipality got this area, which will be actually having 850 new residential units, and it will be having approximately 2,000 residents. And for you to understand, maybe it would be nice to show you the next slide about the photo from the sky. And this area is actually quite big. It's about 35 hectares. Do you know how much 35 hectares make? Sorry, not 35, 85 hectares. And it makes around 35 football fields or something like that.
So for reference, for the couple of engineers that are there, 1 hectare is about 10 to the power of 7 cubic meters, square meters. Yeah.
Thank you, Saif. So it's very important to imagine this because it's quite big area. Okay, let's come back just to give some more information. Here, actually, what is very important is Neckarpark is bought by the Stuttgart municipality in the year of 2000. Currently, we are in 2025. And in the last 25 years, the construction didn't go as planned in many terms, but it started 3 years ago. And currently it is going quite fast, and they are planning to finalize it until, I think, 2027. But this is like a very optimistic number, I would say. And we will see it together. What else is very important is that this project is aiming to be totally environmentally friendly, and it will use a lot of tools that like recycling, also natural tools to collect energy, create energy for the people living. They are also planning to make like schools, education centers about sustainability and giving this education to the residents and the people living in Stuttgart. So it is actually very, very important because this project is one of the biggest projects that is currently under construction in Germany in terms of an eco neighborhood, because it is a big neighborhood, and it is very important to keep in mind this. So let's see the next one again with the map. Okay, this is like the empty part. It is where it started the construction. And this is actually the plan. Let me give you also an interesting fact, because this project first started, the land is bought by the municipality because they thought to make a village for the Olympic Games, because they were a candidate and they said, oh, this area is wonderful, so we can make Olympic Games. And unfortunately they didn't win, so they didn't actually need to make a village anymore. And they had this area and they said, okay, what we can do, let's use, because this is like an empty area. Fun fact, it was the area of customs in Stuttgart. Like, it was like a freight station where the trains come and they leave some food. It is known that the first bananas in Stuttgart reached here at a point. And actually, I will mention in the later slides, but the station is still alive, not as a station, but as something else. I will share it as a surprise later. And here, when you see the green parts, it's like parks and open areas. Thank you, Saif. And some of these are already constructed. The blue parts are mostly the residential parts, and some other places exist, like the hotels, sport places, a pool. I will show you another map. But it's also good to keep in mind this project actually costs a lot of money. I couldn't really find the exact budget, like the total budget, but I found that only 44 million euros of a budget is currently stored to only build the pool. And I don't know, Saif, do you have any info? Because I searched a lot, but I couldn't really find the total sum. And because I think it's a lot and it has different small projects inside, it is a bit hard to know now.
So we talked about it a little bit in university, but we never discussed the price because no one knows. Actually, they're being secretive about it. But
Yeah, I couldn't
it's
really.
of course in the billions.
Of
But
course.
I wanted to add on for the people just so you can see here in this diagram. You can see here is the factory for Mercedes-Benz, and here is a big cultural hall where there are concerts. It's an active hall here in Stuttgart right now, and this is the Cannstatter Vasen, where we have our own Vasen each year in Stuttgart, like the Oktoberfest in Munich. And just so you know, it is right in the middle of everything big happening in Stuttgart. So here they build the amusement park twice a year for over 6 million visitors. And this is the Mercedes factory. Uh, so it's very central. It's very difficult to build there an entire new neighborhood in the middle of everything that's already happening.
Exactly. It's actually a very good point, because it's quite central. It's like in the middle of the city, and this area was empty for very, very long time. So maybe we continue with the next slide. Yeah. And here, of course, we talked about the sustainable development and what it actually supports and focuses on. It is quite interesting because it prioritizes like residential buildings, also commercial part, as I told, educational spaces, as well as it has like green spaces, parks, some roads, and it goes more beyond until like the river. There is the Neckar River, and the name actually comes from there. And there is also an aim to make like the carbon footprint minimum as possible. Of course, we will see that if this will be really, really real, because there are always some challenges, but it is very good design, because like you can find many things together. like community spaces, also some workspaces, houses, and educational hubs. Especially there will be some schools here, they will focus on sustainability education and related fields, because they want to actually sustain this community and sustain the project. That's why it's important. We can see the map again. That was good. Let's continue. Okay, this maybe is
I wanted to say
more
for
clear.
the education centers, I was trying to look up the word in English, and apparently it's just called adult education centers. But another better translation for it would be night schools. So Volkshochschule in Germany for the rest of the people is accessible to everyone to learn different skills that you don't need university for. So it's something between uh, like professional training and university.
Thank you, Saif. Yeah, you can actually see it here, the parts with some different colors. The red ones are actually the commercial spaces like offices, bureau, and the yellow ones are actually the residential parts where the people will be living. And the blue parts are restored for the culture and open spaces. So also some gatherings, some activities. The green part is the sport part. As I told, one of them will be a big pool. And there is also the gray parts around and in between. As you can see, those are like the green spaces, some parks, and open areas. So this, I think, shows a better picture of
And
the.
the stripes you see here on each of these buildings, they are supposed to be like commercial spaces like supermarkets and shopping and stuff like that under the houses or under the offices.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that. Thank you. Okay, I think we can continue. Okay, we showed the place. I think you have now a bit of understanding of how big is the area and what are the plans, but we didn't talk yet about how it will be actually a sustainable concept. And this here is very important. I mean, I tried to put it in three different main titles. So solar energy, geothermal energy, and wastewater heat recovery. These are, I think, some terms maybe some of you already relate because of your education or because we hear a lot. For example, I think solar energy, we know, many of us know that it's the energy from like... Okay. I think there was a small mistake with the sound. So yes, the solar energy is from the sun, and that some panels collect this energy and use it as electricity, and also can be used as the heating. And the geothermal energy is actually very important that they carry here some underground heat to provide actually the solutions for heating. Maybe you know or you don't know, Germany doesn't have so much. I mean, I think we don't have at all natural gas. So it's kind of dependent on the outside resources because of this, and they want to overcome this situation with different new methods. Also, it's very nice that there are some environmentally friendly methods, and they're quite promising, I would say, and they're very interesting. And the last one is the wastewater heat recovery. This is the most I like because it's a concept that I think it can be very useful for recycling purposes. Like wastewater, what is a wastewater? As you know that we are using a lot of water in our daily life. Maybe we can continue to the next one, and I will show you a picture so that we can easily understand. It's basically, let's try to maybe explain it, this concept. So the heat recovery from the wastewater, for example, think about that when you keep a hot cup of tea, your hands get a little bit warm, right? Because the heat is conducted through the glass and your hands are getting warm. Actually, the concept is not that different. Of course, the enlargement and the space is different. For example, as consumers, we are using a lot of water sources. What are these? Like when we take a shower, we use hot water. Also, the heating systems, like the regular heating systems, use hot water. For example, when you wash clothes or the dishes, this also uses hot water. And as a regular process, all this water goes to the sewer system. And so they came up with the idea. They said, okay, this all the water goes to the sewing system hot. And is it possible that maybe we can use this for our benefit? And they came up with this impressive idea of using heat pumps. As you can see that like these heat pumps are actually like responsible of taking that warm, dirty water, and they make it, it also makes it even more hot. And then it's like carrying it to the buildings through the pipes and helping the rooms to get warmer, also to use this again as a hot water source. And this is actually great. You know why? Because instead of using a lot of electricity or gas to heat stuff like the water or the place, we actually reuse what's already there, like the wastewater. It's actually cheaper. I mean, not cheap, but it's cheaper and good for our planet. Of course, this is a big investment, and if the sources and the research I made is correct, there is the first research and development project to be done in Neckarpark, Stuttgart, and it is just the research, and just the research part will cost about $500,000.
To scale it a little bit down, there is also a personal use case of this that is being applied all across Germany, and there is financing from the government for it, and that is small heat exchange systems in the shower itself. So while you shower, you're dropping hot water on the floor, and the floor itself acts as a heat exchanger and returns the hot energy back to the system so it can reheat the water without taking new hot water from the system.
Nice. That is also a great way. I think starting small, but it can impact a lot. Mihail, do we know somebody named Mihail? Because somebody wants to join the webinar. Okay, so I don't add him. Okay. I was talking about like the cost of the project. Maybe can you come back one more time, Saif? Sorry. No. Okay. No. Okay, this one. So the research part costs about €500,000, just to give you some information, because I think it's also important to keep in mind that some new developments and some ways, of course, it's very wonderful, and this will actually help a lot to save some energy and money. But building it also costs a lot of money, and just wanted to share with you. Okay, let's go to the next one. What do you think is this, guys? Oh, sorry, the photo. How it looks like. What do you think? Make a guess. You can just turn on your mic and tell me. Any guess?
It looks like something made with lights, like I don't know, something artistic, it's artistic.
Okay, yes, it looks actually quite artistic, if you also ask me. Thank you, Aurora. Any other guesses?
Looks like a little bit like the buildings we had in my university. Maybe it's one of the university or office buildings.
Yes, maybe. Thank you, Seta. Okay, maybe we go one more photo and now we try to make another guess. This is from the side, so maybe it gives you some more info. Currently, this is actually already built. Yes, Dunya.
Is it a parking maybe?
Ah, yes, great. Thank you. Yes, it's actually a sustainable parking garage. And this is one of the very important buildings because this actually almost concluded, or maybe it's finished. And why it's important? Because a big neighborhood, of course, needs a parking place, but this is not just like a random parking place. It is actually created like a large construction, and it has the capacity of having a lot of cars. But the main thing is not this, because it will be also helping to use and create energy. There will be solar panels and heat pumps under the building, and these heat pumps will actually help to create the energy enough for 850 residential units. And this is actually quite a big number for the project. That's why I wanted to include and give you also some info. And this is, if you come to Stuttgart, you can see it because it's already built up, and the photos are I think this is not the final version, but you will see it. It looks like quite artistic, I can say. I don't know, Saif, do you know something more about this building?
The only thing I have to add is, in addition to the heat pumps, the building itself acts as a heat storage facility. So in the columns and in the walls of the building, they try to include materials that can hold heat longer. So if the heat pumps are not working, they can still produce heat.
That's quite impressive. Thank you. So overall, actually, it's important to mention that why we show this, because of the procedure of the saving the heat from the dirty water, from canalization, and keeping and using it. This actually means that these areas in Neckarpark is very low energy area. What we mean is that it will actually use a very little energy for heating, which is great, because you don't need to use a lot of energy to warm up your apartment or warm up the spaces. And it will be like very you will need very lower temperatures to actually keep up the heat and go through all the sections and the buildings, which will save a lot of money, save a lot of energy. And we are using a wastewater system, and this will help our environment. It will create, of course, lower carbon footprint, and it means less pollution. This is very important. Okay, let's continue. Until here, do you have any questions? Maybe, because then we will continue now with the other subtitle. Okay.
Sorry, I had one question. I was
Yes.
wondering if you know if by chance, if the apartments there are expensive or they're affordable to the public?
The apartments, I think,
Yeah.
I'm not sure about the number, but I think they are not so cheap. Probably this is not only because of the project, but Stuttgart is overall very expensive. And I think I heard about like in the neighborhood, because it's in our neighborhood. And when I was talking with some people, I think they said like the minimum will cost like 200,000 euros for a small apartment to buy it. Maybe even more if you want a bigger place. Saif, do you know the numbers?
I don't know the numbers for sure, but I know it will be like on the normal level of Stuttgart prices. They even had a regulation about it because it's supposed to be a funded project and supposed to draw people in. So they are making sure to keep it the average price of Stuttgart. Stuttgart has the highest prices on the market in Germany, so that's a bit difficult to compare. But yes.
Yes, thank you, Saif. Yeah,
Okay.
maybe it's also
Thank you,
important to
guys.
set a like 200,000 euros apartment in Stuttgart. It is actually an average price. I can say that if you look at the market, you don't find anything less than 150,000, like in the central area. And this is a new project, and other things affects. And I think this is like a price, the average, but minimum for this project. Probably it will be much higher if you want a bigger living space, because in Germany apartments are not that big, and usually people live in small places. But this is overall is like a norm.
I must say that 2,000 euros per square meter, that's now the average price in Varna. Actual price, really.
Well, everything is getting expensive, I think, not only in like Germany, but overall in Europe, in all the world. And we will have the effects of it. I think we will feel it more in the upcoming days, let's say. So, about the other aspect, of course, when we talk about this project, what is very beautiful, another thing, is the green architecture and the vegetation. There will be in the buildings here to enhance the sustainability effect. There will be like living walls and some ivy latticing, which means that actually these buildings will have some natural vegetation walls. And this is actually quite good. Why? Because they create some natural insulation. They absorb pollutants and they keep the buildings cooler sometimes, especially in summer. This is super nice because green facades make like climate adaptation. They actually adapt to the weather and they provide you that the warm place or that a little bit chill place. And this is like they reduce the heat absorption in the summer, and it actually helps the building to be cooler. And they also keep the excess rainwater. They absorb it, and the process will be helping to collect this water to use, as well as it helps with the flooding. Of course, like the place and the situation is also important, but they can also reduce the risk of urban flooding. And it's very nice. There will be also not only the building facades, but as well as some reforestation, which means that there will be some trees planted around this and inside this area. Currently, it's like deserted. There is nothing except the construction going on and this will be helping the place to seem more natural, provide some areas for the chilling, maybe with the forest. That's very important. And the district will be a very good model for green urban development. Okay, let's continue.
If I can show you guys a small example of how this looks like in reality with the living walls. There is a living example for it here in Stuttgart. There was a very old building. It didn't look very nice, but it's in the middle of the most important street here in Stuttgart. And they redid construction on it a few years ago. And I wanted to show you pictures. This is how it looks like in reality now. And this house, this building doesn't need heating anymore because of the living walls. And you can see how also it looks like when it overgrows a little bit. Those were the concept pictures, but this is a reality in Stuttgart right now. And the area around the building, the average temperatures in the summers have dropped by 2 degrees outside on the street, not even the building, but the street has cooled down by 2 degrees around the building.
Oh, nice. That's a lot. I didn't think that one building can actually do that, but it's very impressive. There are, I think, more examples in Stuttgart. I know another building with some green facades, not fully, but with a little bit of near the municipality building, I think. There are some real examples, but imagine this being a neighborhood. So I think it will look quite cool. Continuing with the next slide, just some numbers to give. What is very important is that there will be also power plant here in this project, and there will be like a lot of electricity needs will be used from this, and it will both use heat and power together, so that these 515 kilowatts will be super efficient. And the numbers, and like the most important thing is here to say maybe up to 73% of the all engine will be coming from the heat from the river, where we use this wastewater and also the nearby river to use the heat pump. And it is actually like we can call it like superhero, because I think that is quite an okay word to call it. It's like stealing all the energy and the heat from the river and using and saving this and providing all this energy in the power plant to the residential areas. It's very, very, very life-saving and environment-saving and energy-saving. So this is quite an impressive work. I got impressed. That's why I say a lot, but it's, if it will become real, and I am very much hoping it will be, I think, a very like life-changing part, maybe in Germany or maybe also in Europe. This will start to be used because it's very, very maybe expensive, but a very useful method and a sustainable way to continue your energy plantation. And yeah, these are like some numbers will be also coming from the other heat from the ground, and there are some extra heaters. And that's it. Let's also continue with the next part. Of course, they didn't forget about the green spaces and the riverside development. As I told you that they will have like this reforestation, and they are trying to make a lot of parks, which some of these parks are already built in the place, and you can go visit and enjoy your time. The trees are quite small now, but I think until the end of the project, it will be quite big. Maybe we can show the next slide. It is because it has also a map that you can see. So if you see that the dotted lines, the highlighted areas are like also for the Bad Cannstatt Wasen, and the other part of the river, this part will be the neighborhood. So they are also creating some new green spaces, and this is part of the project. Even though it's on the other side of the river, this will be also one part of the neighborhood plan. It's a very big future project, because Seif also said this area, the Wazen area, is also quite a big area. Like you walk from one side to the other side, it takes about almost 45 minutes to 1 hour, I can say. I mean, I tried once and it wasn't so pleasant, especially when it's empty. Okay. And let's continue with the next part. Okay, we talk about how beautiful is the project and how everything is looking great and the future is actually very promising. But please keep in mind that there is always challenges, because without the challenges, it's actually impossible to create something, because nothing is imperfect. But this doesn't mean that we cannot do it. We can. It will take time and effort. From 2000 to 2025, in 25 years, many things changed. One of the main, I think, challenges will be the maintenance. So they are thinking about this green infrastructure around the building, for example. It is very tricky, actually. If you are working together with nature, you should respect the nature. You cannot just make a living wall and expect that it will work. No. For this, for example, for the living walls with the plants, you need to be sure that you choose the correct plants for the correct vegetation, for the correct climate, and you should know that if it doesn't work, how the things will change and how you can actually make this okay. For example, the water usage is also another concern. This will be required for the water management, also with the heat pumps. This is another challenge, maybe because the project will not really efficiently have enough water, or let's say that have enough heat, or maybe the power plant will not work in long term for so many years, or maybe there will be some issues that they will come up with. But I think with the timeline of this big project and also the plans for the future, some things will be actually overcome, while some still remains uncertain, like the total budget of the project, as we told before. But the government is behind the project. A lot of private companies are partnering in the project, so that the scale is very big, but the support is also very big. Just to give you some idea. Okay. There is also some construction challenges, as I told, that the land was deserted, like not deserted, but like empty. You can think like empty with nothing. But it was the groundwork took a lot of time. I think it took about 1 year just for the groundwork to, and I think it still continues in some areas. The soil, the foundation. I don't know. I live near because and I see it. Sometimes I am walking on that way, and you can see the work is quite hectic, and I think it's not that easy to do this. The cost we already mentioned, and there are some legal compliances related to environment and also urban development laws. I will mention in the next slides. And there will be also challenges for the neighborhood. One very beautiful thing is that they try here to not to make a lot of traffic. So they will put a lot of walking ways and try to actually centralize many things so that people can reach many things in this neighborhood while walking, which is very good because you don't have to use your car or another transportation. And affordability, we already talked about this, that there is some concerns from the people, like Seta asked, but what will be the price, or if it will be affordable? This is still a concern, and as I told you that minimum prices are like average, maybe it will be more, we don't know yet. Also the community integration, because the neighborhood actually is in the middle of the city. It's like in Bad Cannstatt is one of the most diverse background people and the diverse neighborhood. And actually all around this new construction is already other neighborhoods. So there will be new residents coming and engaging with the old residents, and they also thought it's very important to keep the cohesion between the social and cultural community. And they are also working on finding maybe some new community integration tools. Like that's why they have these sport places, cultural places, schools, the Volkshochschule, and everything is not only for this neighborhood, it's for all the Stuttgart actually. Okay. Let's ask another question. What do you see in this picture? Any ideas? No ideas? I think you can be creative.
Yeah, like community garden or something, or just a green space.
Yes, yes, there is a garden. That's great, Elina. Thank you. Something else? There is a building, no? Any other ideas?
Maybe it is a farm.
It's a farm, maybe, yes. It looks like a lot of vegetation going on, but in some pots, like boxes, let's say.
Maybe it's a country house, you know.
Ah, yes. If actually, you can call it kind of that. Okay, so I will tell you. This is a place, the building itself currently is actually the building where it was the train station. And it survived until now. The train station for the customs, like the food came here. As I said, the first bananas came here. But now it is actually a cultural hub with an urban garden. I think my team, some of my team members have been here with me because I took them when we had the meeting for our project, and they had the chance to visit. So there is this small urban garden, and now this cultural hub is called Kulturinsel. It is called Culture Island. And what is this place? It is actually an open space for everybody. You can actually go and have a lot of different voluntary work. You can have different places to use, different meeting rooms. They have a welcome room. If you have some ideas, you can implement that for the community. And they have this urban garden, which is quite impressive because it is one of the very few examples in Stuttgart. They are trying to keep this carryable urban garden so that you can also change the places, you can carry it to somewhere else. And unfortunately, this happened to them in the last few years. A lot of times they had to remove this garden to somewhere else, like to the right, to the left, I don't know, to 3 meters on the other side, to the back of the building, because of the ongoing construction. So this building is actually one of the only buildings still existing in the land that they built the Neckarpark project. Why I want to talk about this? Because we talked about challenges regarding the project and challenges regarding the community, and Kulturinsel is one of the very important and interesting examples. Let's go, yes. So, as I said, this is a creative and social place, and there is a lot of community engagement, and there is a connection to the Neckarpark. So,
I also have something to add that I have a friend also that lives there, and she volunteers a lot there because she likes to do a lot of volunteer work, and actually they are trying to work only with the local people there in the area that are around the Neckarpark area, so that these people feel some belonging to that deserted land that is supposed to be a home for so many people. Yeah.
Thank you, Saif. So here we see a news with the title "The Battle for the Island." Of course, all the Neckarpark project sounds great and it's beautiful, but really, is there no challenge for the community, or really it's like everything looks like in reality? This is very, very interesting because I wanted to give you some interesting facts about this project. Why did you ask yourself? Maybe you can ask now. Why, for the last 25 years, this project didn't happen? Or why you think it took it so long to actually give a start 3 years ago? There are many reasons, of course. I cannot just give all of them because I don't know either. I think many of them, but one of them is the Inselgrün, where this urban garden and the culture island, because the municipality actually wanted in the first hand to remove this building and to destroy it, because they said that this doesn't really fit their view of the Neckarpark Stuttgart, and the design is not that what they think. So here what it is, because I know the coordinators, and at that time, like 3 years ago, we had 2 projects together to implement there, and it was very heated period for them because they had many different problems due to this project. So the project is decided to kick off, but the destiny, the future of the island, the culture island, was not decided. There were 2 sides. One side who wanted to remove, which was most of them, I guess, and one side was mostly the community and some people, let's say, in the government, who supported it to stay. There are many reasons. Like, one side stated that they want to remove it because the construction was a train station and that it is not so safely designed, that it needs to change. It's very old, and this is not very sustainable building because it's old, and it will not really good for the place, and because there will be new cultural spaces that they didn't see the need of it. And also for their garden, urban garden, they said they need to remove it because that area belongs to the construction site. So it was like fight over many years, I would say. That, as you can see, it's from 2019, and they reduced the garden, and they tried to they pushed them a lot. Because of the ongoing construction, they had many challenges, and they had to close, even, I think, very small time, but they had to do it. They stopped like having some fundings because of this situation, so they are actually forced to not exist, but they existed. It's okay, Saif, we can continue. And in 2020, the island is actually secured for a time being. What I mean by time being was that they agreed to keep it 1 more year in 2020. So every year they had the same stress that they will get shut down and get out of the building, because it's very tricky. Actually, this building is owned by the government because it's the train station. But the place is actually ruled by some people, coordinators, volunteers that made that space. This was an abandoned place, and they turned it into a community space, just to clarify that fact. And they secured it. But this securing continued until 2023. So every year they needed to fight again. And in the last time, I think it was the final time in 2023, they said, until a lot of discussions, and they need to also make some changes in the plan, and they need some new construction because it's not so safe for the community in the German style legal ways, let's say. But they said, okay, we will keep this place, and we will make for the good of our community, which was already good. And it was, in my idea, not a good idea to remove it, because it has, I hope you have the chance to come and visit, and I can take you there, but it's an impressive place. It has like it is open for everybody. For example, you can just go from the street and you can find something for yourself. And also the CEO of the Mercedes comes here to make meetings. And there is a disco in the underground for 3 floors. I know, it's very interesting place. It's like exactly a culture island with many different parts, and it actually targets many different people, but they find a way to meet in common parts. So this is very important for Stuttgart. And I'm happy that this place is secured and it will be open and going on with some new adjustments. Yeah. Okay, and the next one. What do you see in this picture? This is very, things are getting very interesting. Sorry.
I see a very cute lizard.
Yes, Aurora, it's very cute. I mean, I can agree. Maybe some of you don't. Lizards are our friend. And the copyright, I don't know if you can see from the left upper part, it's from Deutsche Bahn. It's actually not related with our project, but it is related somehow. And I will tell you how it's related. But before telling about the relation, I want to continue with the next slide and give you some information about wildlife conservation and protection of lizards with compliance from European Union. So in European Union, we have this compliance. Can you go one more slide, Save? Okay, the sand lizards, the ones, little cute ones on the on the photo, and also another type of lizards, one more type. Wait, I think I wrote it down. Well, anyways, they are actually they're actually under conservation. So, which means that they are living in Europe in many parts, but you cannot harm them or you cannot do anything against them because they are protected under EU laws. And this was actually a big challenge for Deutsche Bahn and for Neckarpark project. Okay, let's continue and with the other one. Next slide. Okay, this is very funny. It's getting, I mean, not funny. It's like tragic and comic at the same time. So 7 years ago, The Guardian made news about these little cute friends of ours. Maybe you know that there is a project called Stuttgart 21. It's a project of building the new train station in Stuttgart and also building some new roads connecting Stuttgart with other surrounding cities.
The biggest project in Europe at this time.
The biggest?
The biggest construction project in the entire Europe. Yeah.
Thank you, Saif. I didn't know that. But yes, it's a very, very big project. And the name is Stuttgart 21 because it was supposed to finish in 2021, but it didn't. It still continues. Just to tell you, it was like, there were some scandals, I don't know. But this is very interesting because when they were building some parts connecting Stuttgart with another city, they found out that there are these little cute friends of our lizards are living in those areas where they want to build the trains, like the train roads and some part of the construction of the railway. And after they found out this, of course, they said, we cannot do this. We need to stop because, like, not stop, like, do something because we cannot continue because our friends are secured under the European legislation. We have to protect them, which is great. And that is what it is supposed to be. Well, you can ask yourself. Then Deutsche Bahn came with an idea, what we can do, how we can continue our construction and make the little friends happy. By the way, when Steve, can you come 2 slides back? One more, sorry. Okay, this photo is from the Deutsche Bahn webpage, and they have quite a big section about the lizards with the title, Lizards Are Our Friends, just to keep in mind. Okay, let's continue. Let's turn back. No, not this. Okay. So they came up with the idea and they found a way. They said, let's relocate them. And they asked each other, like, but how? They found an area in a natural park setting, and they decided that this area would be very good for them to live, so that they can relocate the lizards from the area where they live. I'm underlining these animals are very fast, small, hard to deal with, but they decided that they'll relocate, and they put a budget of 15 million euros to relocate the lizards. While I am really proud of they tried to save them and do this, saving one lizard costed them about 2,000 to 4,000 euros. Why? Because they needed to actually hire some specialists who can catch lizards. And this is a funny story, but also in Neckarpark area, the lizards were living also there. And some of the neighbors that I told me that they often saw many people coming with some buckets and some special equipment, and they were walking in the place and trying to find lizards and to take them away. Okay, this sounds a little weird to me. I don't know how it sounds to you, but it sounds a bit weird to me.
So actually, this project took longer than 1.5 years to finish, to collect all the lizards, and they just collected these experts, and these experts were just like veterinarians and people who work with animals, and their job was just to go out every day, walk around the field, and look for the lizards. Sometimes they had some food, sometimes they would make some sounds. Sometimes they have to go out at night because they are active in the night, but they just took more than 1.5 years because they go and they just look for lizards and they have to catch them. They run fast. It's not a very easy task to move lizards, but it's the same level here in Germany. Like, for example, wasps. If you kill a wasp, you can pay a fine of up to 2,500 euros, and the lizards fall under the same protection like wasps.
Yeah, thank you, Saif, for sharing. Yes, it's like very interesting. And in my idea, some things that is done is very, very good for our environment. And I really appreciate the efforts to save the lizards. But do you think it worked? What do you think? It worked or it didn't work? Or do you have any idea?
Maybe it worked, but we have to, see how many lizards they caught. If it worked, it worked, but keeping a lizard safe, although it's very cute, but it's not easy to deal with.
It's not, yes. So, yeah, keep in mind that it costed them like only for this Deutsche Bahn project, okay? We are talking about like 15 million euros. And as they had the budget from 2,000 to 4,000 euros, we can say that they managed to catch, let's say, maximum maybe like 10,000 lizards. I don't know. It's like maybe I exaggerated. It is not that much. I don't think so. But I calculated from the minimum level. Okay. Sadly, if we continue to the next slide. Safe.
Safe.
Okay. Sadly, in 2015, there was a news from the Berliner Morgenpost. It's like a newspaper from Germany. And that we cannot really say that this project of catching the lizards and relocating them was 100% successful. Because they said that they caught this one. This is a part of the project, okay, not the whole project numbers, but like they caught these 106 lizards, and they took them to the new place to relocate them, and they found out that they all died, unfortunately. And they said that the experts are looking after why this happened, but actually they really couldn't understand. If you ask me, I could understand if you force somebody to live somewhere they don't want to, maybe that's not the best solution. But again, put yourself in this situation. I am just a presenter who gives you information. What would you do in this situation? To make a sustainable neighborhood, for example, would you kill the endangered species, or would it matter to you? Or how the things would work? Because what happened in the Stuttgart 21 project, the rail project, actually happened in Neckarpark project as well. But interestingly, I didn't find any sources related to this or any news about it. But I know that it happened because I live in that neighborhood, and I have many people who told me that this happened, and they also saw it that happened. And genuinely, they told that it is impossible to actually move lizards from somewhere to somewhere else, which you cannot catch all of them. Secondly, you cannot really be sure that they will adapt to the new environment. Thank you, Saif. Yes, that is a great thing to, maybe we can, like, you can look later. I would look also later. I think interesting. If you can share in the group chat, that would be good. So yeah, this was a very puzzling situation, and actually it postponed the project, Neckarpark Stuttgart project, couple of years only because of this. As Saif said, it happened in Deutsche Bahn project. It also happened where the Neckarpark Stuttgart happened. That's why actually it took a lot of time to start, not only because of this, but because of many different challenges. Well, if you ask me now, some people in my neighborhood tells that they kind of abandoned the lizards. So these projects happened, but as I said, that it really didn't resolve, and the consequences didn't really come to a very good solution. So they just started the project and continued. Well, okay, let's continue. And as a conclusion, we can say that, Saif, can you continue with the next slide? We can say that Neckarpark is a very, very promising project. It's like, it's very, very beautiful, and I mean, I have to say that it's a very good example of a sustainable eco-village urban neighborhood. And Stuttgart municipality, the local council, actually decided to go totally climate neutral by 2035. This is one of their main aims. Of course, we cannot know if it will happen or if it will not, but the project itself has very good innovative urban development style. There are some challenges and opportunities, as we mentioned, and this is actually a good example and a model for future cities. This is a big project, and as I said, it can inspire many other projects in Germany or in Europe or even in the world. There is a very big possibility that this will happen because there is a current research and development going on. Before I conclude my presentation and our webinar, I would like to also ask you maybe like a self-criticizing question in the next slide. Would you, if you would be there, would you destroy a piece of nature today to build a greener future for tomorrow? Yeah, this is, I don't want an answer. It's just for you to reflect. And I am happy to have you here. And here also you can see some of my references in the next slides. Let's show them quickly. But of course, you can see them later. I can share the slide with you. A lot of references. I learned a lot. And I thank you for all joining and listening. I hope you enjoyed. I tried to make it a bit engaging and interesting for you, because some topics are, I know, hard to understand, and concepts. And also, any questions if you have, I would be happy to try to reply. Also, Saif might help me. Yeah, that's about it.
I have one question, but it's not totally related to the presentation. It's about something you said and something I heard. You said that Germany has no gas at all, and that Germany closed most of the nuclear power plants. But now with the Ukraine crisis and there are restrictions to Russia, I hear that Germany is considering opening some of the nuclear power plants because you get gas from Russia, which is not so cheap.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's something I heard, and I'm very curious about it. If you have any information about it, I will be happy to hear it, like from the spring.
If I can answer that for you, in Germany, they will not reactivate any nuclear power ever again. Like that is decided. They have deconstructed even the power plants. And I don't know why they just somehow decided nuclear power is not good, is not environmentally friendly, so this is out of the question. And because of the gas, they are still importing through the Nord 2 gas pipeline. Maybe some of you know about it, the one that goes through the North Sea. It connects Russia and Germany directly. And actually, what happened since the war is now Germany is importing nuclear energy from France. So France has reactivated 4 nuclear power plants just to export energy to Germany. So that's the solution they decided on.
Yeah, thank you. It was interesting.
Camila?
Yeah. Actually, Germany is using a lot of coal,
Mm-hmm.
and as you said, like they are thinking of having this energy policy free, sustainable for the next year. But because of the war, now they are using again coals and opening new farm coals in Germany that is not sustainable. But there's also some political talks about starting using nuclear energy that I heard the last weeks with the elections and stopping somehow the wind energy. So this is like the big picture, but for now it's a safe set. Germany is buying a lot of energy from France.
Thank you very much, guys, for explaining. Also, with the nuclear energy, yes, it's an interesting and a hot topic. Well, I'm not the expert on that topic, but Saif explained it, I think, quite well. Any other questions?
I was wondering, at some point you said that they're taking for the energy, for the thermal, the geothermal energy. At some point you said that they're taking the heat from the river. Like, did you mean like heat, excess heat that would have otherwise reached the river? Or are they using the temperature of the river to like power the place?
I think it is similar concept to the heat pumps. They will use the heat of the river as in the example of the water that we collect, the heat, the hot water we collect. And Saif, yes, you
Yeah.
can tell.
Actually, to that topic, like what I read is that they used both principles, like taking all the hot water from the waste and taking the energy from that. But with the river, they also tried to, like, heat exchange can also work with cold temperatures. So the thing is, in the heat pump facility, You just have to have one constant temperature, and then you try and take an external source of heat or cold, and during that process of bringing both temperatures together, you create the energy. So they can do it also in cold temperatures, but that just isn't as efficient, because in the end they need a lot more power from the heat.
Yeah, thank you. I kind of understand like the concept, but what my thought process was, would that have any effect on the ecosystem in the river if like if the temperatures of the river change or they stay the same, or how that exactly happens? But this is a really niche question and thought, so I can just read up a bit more on my own. If you
It's
if you
a
maybe
really
share the
good question.
presentation.
I'll also look for it for the answer. I never thought about it, but yes.
I think we can think like that. So it's just my opinion. I don't know either if how it affects, but I think the effect would be minimum, if you ask me, because this river is very big, first of all, and the neighborhood is not that big compared to how big is Neckar River. It is like, I don't know how many kilometers, but like it goes through a lot of cities in Germany for thousands of kilometers, probably. It goes to other countries, probably. So that considering that, using some heat of the river and the heat, also this river is a constant flow. So imagine that even if you take a heat from one part, I would suggest that the constant flow will help to keep the average temperature like constantly. It's just my opinion, and I don't think it will have a big effect on the environment and nature there. Well, of course, they cannot take all of the water and use the heat. Probably they will have a system taking a part and circulating through and getting the heat and giving the water back to the river. That's why I think it will work like that. But it's good to know more. Thank you. Lizards are our friends again. Okay. Any other questions?
Why do people abandon lizards? How can they abandon such a thing?
Yeah, that's a question to ask. I think everybody will have a different answer. In my opinion, if you put yourself in the part of the private sector who wants to earn millions of billions of euros, and the environmental like the people who support environmental awareness and protection for them, so this is like a ongoing fight, and probably there will be always, not only about lizards but also about other topics. It's always an ongoing fight, and there are many sides in the story. That's why I could say Aurora, but this is like very subjective, and our priorities change, not only because of us, also it changes because of the environment we are involved. So yeah, it is like a good question, but I sadly cannot really answer it.
Thank you.
Thank you too. Before we close our meeting, I would like to also thank all of you again for joining, and thank Seif for supporting me in this presentation. And if you don't mind, maybe we can make a group photo together. Would it be okay for you? Maybe you can also, turn on your camera if that is possible. And Seif, I think you can close the presentation so we can have a group photo together. Anything else you would like to add, Angelo, Nicola, Dunya, or anybody else? Elena, I don't know. We don't hear you, Angelo.
I'm sorry. For me, it's okay. I have anything to add. Thank you very much to you, Begum and Saif. A good presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you to you.
So while it's coming to the 8 p.m., I think it's time to go sleep, or for some of us, not for me, but okay. So guys, thank you, and it was pleasure to see you again. Hope to see you again in the next webinar by Italian team. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody. I love you.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye
you
bye.
guys. It was very
Bye, guys.
interesting. Bye.
Bye.